Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right, last night we had the Carolina Hurricanes take on the Calgary Flames in a high-scoring game as Carolina gets their 25th win on the season and beats the Flames 6-3. In this game, it started off very quick as both teams got one goal apiece and were tied at 1 after the first period. But after that, Carolina was able to take the lead and keep it for the rest of the game. Now, coming into this game, Carolina is very, very similar to the New York Rangers. How so? Well, it comes down to penalty killing because coming into this game, the Hurricanes had 25 straight penalties killed. 25 straight. And in this game, they got 4 and they increased it to 29 straight. With what the Rangers and the Hurricanes have done with penalty killing is just insane, and we are truly watching something special because these are video game numbers. Teams, it doesn't matter what year, how good you are, teams wish they could kill penalties like what the Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes have done over the last 10 to 20 games. It is truly something special for what we're witnessing. But as for both teams, Carolina is now on a 3-game win streak while Calgary is on a 3-game losing streak. Carolina is now still holding strong first in their division with their 25th win, but Calgary is fighting for third place with this loss, with Edmonton in the Pacific Division fighting for third place. And some teams, including Calgary themselves, some teams have completely struggled to get wins on their resume because of this huge COVID outbreak that happened in late December of last year. Because ever since that outbreak happened, players are getting COVID protocol left and right. Even games are being postponed left and right. And the scary thing about this is that there can only be so many games. It doesn't matter what sport it is. There can only be so many games in a season to be canceled or postponed before someone has to put their foot in the door and have a discussion amongst themselves about the league and be like, hey, this COVID outbreak or whatever's happening is happening way too much. We're going to have to postpone / cancel the season. Most likely postpone, definitely not canceled. But I'm hoping that this COVID outbreak can completely slow down and completely stop because, like I said, this season is only going to go so far with players in COVID protocol and games being suspended before maybe a major decision has to be made. And speaking of major decisions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made a great major decision in letting AB go because what happened on Sunday versus the Jets, based on what Bruce Arians says, completely proved and clarified for everybody else, even if you already knew that AB only cares about his stats, because he asked Bruce Arians why he wasn't getting the ball, and then Arians kicked him out. Like, come on, AB. The more you want to win, the more likely you are going to get the ball, because the more you ask, the less you get, depending on how it goes, on how the situation is looked at. But AB is finally cut from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now the Buccaneers don't have to deal with that stress level. But AB is still trying to get back into the NFL, and he'd be lucky after this point, and especially of what he said on the Now Boys podcast earlier this week. And they were and the Now Boys were talking to AB about what's going on with his situation and like how is he dealing with it. But with what AB was saying, he was saying along the lines of, he was saying that the only reason he was on the Buccaneers and that the only reason that Tom Brady and Antonio Brown are friends was because Antonio Brown is a good football player. Like, I get that you are a good football player and great, or used to be great at your position, but Tom Brady doesn't care how great you are. He can turn a Mr. Irrelevant pick into a Hall of Famer if he wanted to, and he makes everybody look good. He's one of those players. But also what AB was saying, he also said about the Buccaneers is, who's better than, other than Tom Brady, who's better than him on the Bucs? Well, I could probably say every single wide receiver, especially Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, because they're the one that's putting up most of the numbers. Well, they're at the top of the list on their team. You're at the bottom because you're constantly caring about your stats and asking for the ball more and more. And besides, as of right now, every wide receiver in the league is better than Antonio Brown because he's not in the league right now. He's not playing. And ever since he left Pittsburgh, he just turned into a wildfire that just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it will happen where this wildfire that he's created amongst himself is going to cave in on him and he can't do nothing about it. AB, you have got to watch yourself, like seriously, because you are constantly screwing yourself, because ever since you left Pittsburgh, you may still have the same skill set and be just as good, but as of right now, you are not, because like I said, ever since you left Pittsburgh, you created a wildfire amongst yourself and you made yourself look worse and worse, and your performance started looking worse and worse. And good thing you got kicked off the Buccaneers, because who knows on how much you would have not gotten the ball if you stayed, because it definitely would have triggered you a lot more. Now, speaking of the NFL, this is probably the most interesting thing I've seen in the NFL ever, and a random Giants fan, Jets or Giants fan, claimed a $6 billion lawsuit against the NFL for having the New York Giants and Jets play in New Jersey while being branded New York. This is so ridiculous. Like you're seriously doing it? Like, are you just trying to make people have a bad day? Like, cause why do you care so much? You got to watch football, baby. Okay, maybe you might live in New York, but still, New York City is not that far from New Jersey, because I've been to New York City. It is not that far. The stadiums are not that far whatsoever. And the fact that you claimed a lawsuit is completely laughable, because no one's going to do anything about this. They're just going to, because the NFL is just going to look at this and would love to laugh in your face, because this is probably one of the most funniest and ridiculous things I've seen in any sport. Alright, now let's get into something real interesting. Since the NCAA has allowed players to start getting paid, now players are starting to lose that passion of what we used to watch. It's starting this year, but players are going to start slowly losing passion and only care about that money. Now, why am I speaking of money? Well, I'm about to get into something. I'm about to get into a huge offer for a college player, and that is a former NFL quarterback, Charlie Batch, alumni of Eastern Michigan Eagles. This guy, Charlie Batch, offered Caleb Williams, former quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, who's now in the transfer portal, he offered Caleb Williams $1 million to play for his alma mater. Like, holy crap. Like, what? $1 million? Like, this is the kind of offer and situation that is truly going to show if how much players in college care about money, or if passion is going to go a longer way and they're going to wait till the NFL, or if they get to the NFL to make the big bucks. Especially Caleb Williams with this $1 million offer. Like, I honestly, just based on money situation, just to help myself out, I would definitely take it. But that's just me because you got some money in the bank account. But I'd rather play for passion over money, because passion is over everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Sports, hobbies, habits, it doesn't matter what it is. Passion beats everything. The more passion you have, the more drive you have, and the more you are going to be interconnected with yourself if you can drive that passion for yourself. Now, is Caleb Williams going to take this offer? Because we will find out very soon, but I wouldn't take it, because Eastern Michigan is, even for $1 million, Eastern Michigan is way too bad even for that kind of money. Because Eastern Michigan is not a team that is ever relevant. Like, Eastern Michigan is the type of team that you want to play against in NCAA, for whoever's played NCAA 14 and before that. Eastern Michigan is the type of team to where, like, you pick out the team that you're going to use and you use Eastern Michigan as the opponent to kick their butt. That's how bad Eastern Michigan is. In my opinion, even though it's 7 figures, I honestly wouldn't do it. I'd rather go to a better team where I have a bigger shot at going to the NFL and really emphasizing and fully expanding my skill set. And this is speaking for Caleb Williams. This is all up to him, because we will find out Twitter, whatever, if he is going to take that offer. Now, the news that everybody has been waiting 2.5 years for. Klay Thompson is officially back tomorrow playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And here's the thing. For how good that Steph Curry and the Warriors are right now at 29-8. That's the best record in the NBA right now. And Steph Curry has broken records all along this season, and he has been on an MVP level as well this season. Put another top 5 shooter in the whole NBA history along with him. Warriors are definitely having a great shot at getting to the NBA Finals, because honestly, with just Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, both of those guys could probably take on a 5-on-2 matchup and win themselves. That's how good they are at shooting. With Klay Thompson finally being back, the Warriors are about to be so much more fun to watch, and they're about to destroy their opponents even more. And is it possible? Because the Warriors aren't nearly at 30 wins. 30 wins right now, and we're just about halfway through the season. And they have the best record without Klay Thompson. Add Klay Thompson into that mixture, the Warriors are about to be a 60-plus win team. Not sure, they ain't going to get 70 unless somehow they almost don't lose for the rest of the season and go on like a 30-40 game win streak, which is very doable, but as of right now, definitely not possible until it looks closer to that achievement. But the Warriors, that's my prediction as of right now. Not the Lakers, not the Nets, not anybody else. Not Milwaukee, not Atlanta, not the Clippers, nobody. Warriors are winning the chip. This ain't even a joke for how good the Warriors are about to get, adding one of the best, or some people to claim top 5 shooter in the whole NBA history, and he's about to get added. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk about this enough for how exciting this is about to be. And the dude has been gone for 2 years and unfortunately got back-to-back major injuries with the ACL and an Achilles. Oh man, I just want to keep talking about it because this is so freaking exciting. Now also, speaking of excitement in the NBA, LeBron James, like, is there any more you can ask for this dude? He's averaging 28.5 points a game, 28.7 to be exact. He's leading his team in 3 categories: blocks, rebounds, blocks, steals, and points. By rebounds and assists are Russell Westbrook. LeBron is like trying to average 30, and it's so crazy because he's nearly getting, just over the last 10 to 15 games, he's averaging like 32 plus. And over a 7 to 9 game span, something along that, 7 to 9 game span, there was at one point where he was averaging 36. LeBron's in year 19, he's 37 years old. Like, how much more can you ask for this dude? Everybody that tries to say he's washed up, he's done, oh, he's 37, year 19, he's going to start falling over because of age. And this is normally the time where players start to fall off and nearly finish their career. Bro, LeBron is so freaking good at what he's doing at year 19. Clearly the GOAT, but that's debatable on like whoever you choose between Michael Jordan and LeBron. But for me, it's LeBron. LeBron's skill set is just so insane, especially what he's doing in year 19, and he's barely holding his team above 500. If they were playing as we expected them to be, they'd be on the Warriors level right now. But LeBron is dragging yet another team, not entirely, but he's definitely on a little bit of dragging this team because the Lakers are doing a lot worse than we all expect. We probably expect like 27 and 11 or 26 and like 10, something like that, not 20 and 20 where they're 500. But LeBron, with, like, I keep saying this over and over, with his skill set and what he has done through 19 years, LeBron has enough left to go 25 seasons. Not even kidding. This dude has enough left in the tank to go 25 seasons, and I would love for him to go at least, I think it's 22 or 23 seasons, where he's going to have to play long enough for his son to come into the league. And that is probably one of the best things you could ever see in sports, which is a father and son playing together. The last time that a father and son played in the pros together was all the way back in the early 90s, late 80s, where Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. played together, and that was just crazy as it is. With Bron James and LeBron James playing together, maybe, just maybe, LeBron James Jr. can give us a little bit of remnants of what his dad is. But like, this is gonna be the hardest part also for Bron James, is that when LeBron James retires, there's probably going to be like over pressure on Bron James Jr. because LeBron is top 2, top 3 greatest, maybe the greatest basketball player ever, depending on what your opinion is and how you look at it. Bron James is going to have an immense amount of pressure. But other than that, LeBron James is just like, you can't stop this dude at 37 years old. Like, who can you freaking stop at 37 years old if you can't stop LeBron? It is absolutely insane. And he's also on an MVP caliber level right now. He's like top 5, top 6 in the MVP voting. LeBron James, easily the GOAT. Now, last but not least, with college basketball, is an Iowa player has broke a record that has been broken in a while, and that's playing the most games in men's basketball Division I history. Most games. This guy, Bohannon, he is a total Iron Man when it comes to college basketball, and has played with Iowa ever since he came into the NCAA, and he's hoping to get back and put back Iowa into the March Madness tournament and see how far they can go. Because last year they went pretty far. Is it possible that he can go farther this year? We'll see. Because Iowa isn't ranked right now, but we still have about 15 to 20 games left to play, so who knows of what Iowa has the capability of doing come March Madness. Alright, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.